Episode 220, How to Use Your Church App in Your Worship Experience with Chris Sharpe. Let's do it.
This is the definitive podcast for helping you plan, create, and execute dynamic worship experiences at your church. Useful, practical content in the areas of production, worship, communications, first impressions, and more. This is Making Sunday Happen.
Well, hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here. This is the definitive podcast for those who plan, create, and execute worship experiences at churches all around the world. I wanted to quickly share with you one of our brand new mini movies on baptism that we just made at 1230 Media. This video is perfect for your worship experience on a baptism Sunday or big baptism event of any kind. So I want you to watch this video and I'll give you a discount in just a second on this mini movie. Check this out.
Baptism is a symbol of what Jesus did for us
in his death, burial, and resurrection.
Being lowered in the water represents our old life dying.
Just as Jesus was dead and buried,
our past and future sins are gone forever.
we are forgiven.
When we are raised out of the water,
It represents our new life in Christ.
just as Jesus was resurrected, we are a new creation.
The old is gone. The new has come.
Today,
we celebrate as people take their next step and tell the world that Jesus has brought them from death
To life.
To life.
Today we celebrate the miracle of a changed life.
based upon their profession in Jesus Christ.
In the name of the Father,
The Son and the Holy Spirit. We are buried with Christ.
Raised to
and
walk.
raised to walk in newness of life.
Newness of life.
All right, guys, you can use the code LOCALCHURCH for $5 off that mini movie or any mini movie or worship media product on our site. Code LOCALCHURCH, all one word, for $5 off at 1230.media. Just click on Worship Media, the Worship Media tab, and any of those products or anything in that library, you can purchase individually and use that code for $5 off anything that you want. Local Church, all one word, is the code for that. Dozens of packs, boxes, mini movies, all kinds of ready-made content for you. And our Go Unlimited subscription is only $49 a month, which is less than the cost of one series in a box. So be sure to check that out too, Go Unlimited. All right, this week I welcome Chris Sharpe to the podcast. He is the Vice President of Business Development at Subsplash. We're going to be talking about ways that you can utilize your church app in your worship experiences and beyond. So several years ago, it was a staple to have a silence your cell phone announcement slide in your announcement loop. And I'm going to suggest that it might be okay for people to silence their cell phones, certainly to minimize distractions in your worship experience, but it's not that great anymore to make them put their phones away or to ask them to do that. What I would rather encourage you to do is they're already on their phone, so you might as well engage them and use that in your worship experience to your advantage. Okay, so we're going to talk with Chris about several ways that you can do that, just ideas for using your church app inside your worship experience, and then some ways that you can take your worship experience beyond through your app. All right, so here we go. You're going to watch a quick video, and then we'll jump right into my interview with Chris Sharpe from Subsplash. Check this out.
We know you spend a lot of time prepping sermon content each week so that your community will grow as disciples. One way that discipleship is encouraged is through your members taking notes during the church service each week. But for many people, it's easy to lose track of bulletins. They're awkward to hang on to, and they usually end up getting lost or accidentally thrown away. That's why we created our latest feature, Subsplash Notes. Think of Notes as a digital journal. all your users have to do is pull up a media item and take a note. These notes will sync across devices, so a note taken on a user's phone in church will also show up on their tablet at home. Additionally, your community will never have to worry about losing their notes when they get a new device. All of the user's notes are stored for easy access in the app menu, and each note is automatically connected to the corresponding media item so they can easily refer back to the sermon. Users can also share a note with a friend with just a tap of a button. Notes will be coming to your app this summer. If you'd like to manage the visibility of notes in your app, you can do so in Settings. Subsplash Notes, just another way that we're helping you engage your community.
Hey guys, today I welcome to the podcast the Vice President of Business Development at Subsplash. My friend Chris Sharpe is in the house. Chris, welcome, man.
Thank you so much, Carl. Glad to be here.
Now you are calling in all the way from Seattle, right? So we got the coast to coast going on here.
Yes. The always sunny Seattle is where I am. Beautiful gray clouds out right as we speak.
Nice, man. Well, I'm in South Carolina, so we are making the technology hop here.
Yes, love it.
All right, so tell me a little bit about Subsplash as we dive in. You guys are all about helping churches engage their community, and you guys do a lot through apps, websites, and a bunch of other stuff. Give me kind of a 30,000-foot view of what Subsplash does.
Yeah, absolutely. So Subsplash, we work with a little over 11,000 organizations today and are focused on serving churches and ministries as we try to focus on that specific need of how do we help them authentically engage their community in order to make more and better disciples. So a lot of people have viewed us over time as an app company. We have websites, we have giving. We're not an app company or a giving company. We're an innovation company trying to solve those real everyday challenges and needs that come up inside of the church in their effort to engage authentically.
That's awesome, man. Now, we are working on an app with you guys. We're excited about the launch of that, and a lot of churches that we work with use you guys for app and website and other things. But one thing I really want to hit on with you today is how do I use my app and the technology that you guys provide in my worship experience, and also how do I take it beyond my worship experience? Okay, so I'm kind of under the opinion that gone are the days of the silence your cell phones slide in my worship experience, that I'm more about how to leverage people that are already on their cell phone.
Right.
How do I engage them? So do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, for sure. I know you feel like you could be bringing up your phone on a Sunday and you're like, I'm taking notes, or I'm reading the Bible. I'm not checking fantasy sports, right?
Yeah.
But now it's so much more accepted that you can be on your phone because of the practicality of what it is. So for us, there's the worship experience itself, and there's through the week, which is often where the biggest bang for your buck can happen when you're talking about mobile engagement. Now, we do have mobile websites, but mobile apps is where it's at. That's what people are conditioned to, and it's where most data is consumed. So first and foremost, we see that when it comes to media consumption on mobile, 90% of that is through a mobile app versus mobile web. And so we know they're engaged. So how do we engage them? So on a Sunday, there's a few things that we focus on. One is, if you have, you think about bulletins, handing out a bulletin every Sunday, that's great. I always say no to mine because I feel bad afterwards because I don't know what to do with it. Does it go in the recycle bin? Does it stay in my car? But what are you trying to do with that bulletin, right, as a church? You're trying to communicate new news. You might want to give a little blurb about your church. You might want to have a connect card. That is all possible right there inside of the app when you come and you can promote that men's weekend. You can send a push notification when they walk through the door that says, hey, if you haven't had a chance to check in, come meet one of our greeters here. And we have this free gift for you. Or there's so much you can do with the mobile app. And then once you're engaged in the worship experience, you can we have fill in notes, fill in the blank notes. There's outlines you can provide. Sometimes churches do even use push notifications as a way of doing polls or making announcements for that Sunday experience. So there's Bibles inside you can be reading. And then through the week, you're talking about a whole different experience that you're trying to keep people engaged, what keeps them coming back, and it keeps them focused on your content, which might be a sermon, it might be Bible reading plans, it might be blogs, it might be news, prayer requests. There's lots you can engage with throughout the week.
All right, so I want to hit on a list of things that I can use my app for in
Perfect.
and around my worship experience. You hit on a couple, but I
Yeah.
want to kind of walk through these one by one. Okay, you mentioned sermon notes. So tell me some practical ideas to use my app to engage my congregation in my sermon or my message.
Right. Yeah. So there's a few cool things you can do. One, there's a general note-taking feature that you can attach even to a sermon, so they could take notes, free form, right? It saves to your account. There's also the ability for a church to use what we call our fill-in notes or our sermon note tool, where they can uh, preload content in there. It might be an outline of the talking points. It might actually be fill in the blank notes, which some churches do. It might be questions you should be asking throughout the process of listening to that sermon or being present when that sermon is being presented. So those are different tools. One is much more for the end user just to take their own free-form notes to save it, and the other is for the church to curate the content and preload it. It might be, again, that outline. It might be a fill-in blank, but giving them a little more context to the notes so they're adding in the items. They can email it to themselves and save it for later.
We talk to a lot of church leaders who maybe tithing or giving might not be the most fun topic to bring up, but it's definitely important to keep the engine of the church going. So tell me about in-app giving and some things that I can do in the worship experience, even
Sure.
to give.
For sure. Yeah, there's usually one Sunday a year we might talk about the budget or giving.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about it, but it doesn't start with giving. It never does. That should be a byproduct of becoming a disciple, and out of the generosity and out of your ability to be engaged and want to serve, you do want to give back. So we try to provide a couple ways of doing that. One, we do provide an in-app giving experience. It takes about 6 seconds to make a donation. Remembers who you are. It is incredibly quick and easy because we found that a lot of people, they don't have their checkbook. They don't want to go onto a website experience that might ask you 20 different questions to fill out forms. So how do we make that as quick and clean as possible to enhance that donation experience? So that is possible through the mobile app itself. There's also text giving and then a web giving experience that's meant to be the church's brand, so they don't feel like they're going off to some different company to give, but trying to make that a holistic and quick, streamlined process for giving.
Right. So give me those one by one as more of an idea for me as a pastor. So if I'm a pastor or leader, what are some practical things that I can do to engage my audience in giving? So you said text to give.
Yep.
All right. Mention those a couple again for me.
For sure, yeah. And we actually have this giving engagement plan we walk churches through. So one thing is you don't have to make the big spiel about why you should give. That's good. But also you need to make people aware every single week of how they can respond. And giving is one of those ways to respond. So we do recommend actually having a slide at the end that says, hey, you can make a donation. You could fill it in this envelope. You can do it in your app. You can do it online, making sure you're talking about how they give and the ease of use. Also, even inside of the tool itself, you can designate funds, which we found has been incredibly helpful as a practical step for a church. So let's say my church, we built a rescue house for children being rescued out of human trafficking. And so we put this whole fund together, but you could have a dedicated page just for that fund. So that's something you do want to talk about from the stage. You want to give people an update, but you can give them a very specific place inside of the app. So you can say, hey, open up your app right now. You'll see we've got this video on what we're trying to do. Click that give link right there. And 10 seconds later, you can make a donation for us to build this house. So talking about the how you can do it is very, very important, as much as the why we give.
Awesome. Okay, so this idea is definitely in the beyond the worship experience kind of topic, but obviously we can watch message content.
Right.
So we can upload sermons and watch message content during the week. How do you find that people that use the Subsplash platform engage with content during the
Right.
week, whether they're out on a Sunday or
Yeah.
replays or whatever?
Right. There are a couple of major themes. One, churches are content creators. They're producers. They're recording at least a sermon every single week. And if you're not recording, it's very easy. You should record at least the audio. It doesn't have to be the highest quality video. That's really good. But audio is incredibly beneficial because people can listen while they're doing something. That's become a habit. You could be driving and podcast it. You could be on a run. You could be just walking and listening or cooking in your kitchen and listening. So the power of audio is huge. But we've tried to streamline that entire process to say, first, how do we help you manage the content itself to make it a one-click streamlined process? Upload your video, takes the audio out, and simplifies it. But then as you're promoting that, get your sermons in front of people as quickly as possible, because a lot of people do miss on a Sunday. The average person now goes 2 times or less a month.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of people missing, but not just your sermon. What would it look like to create a blog or to insert a Bible reading plan that has an audio Bible associated with it? All tools that are very easy to streamline, because that's something that is easy to implement and provides relevant content on a regular basis. And the more people you can get ingrained in, we're going to participate in this Bible reading plan together, as well as you might have small groups throughout the week where, hey, from this Sunday's sermon, we talked about this. Break that down inside of your small groups. So there's helpful to have the ability to have even the TV, Apple TV or Roku app to watch that segment maybe again. So make sure you are getting the sermon in front of people the best way possible.
What have you found with churches who have podcasts? How do they? What are the best ways to manage that and get that content out to people during the week?
Yeah. So we found that a lot of churches were spending a lot of time managing video, audio separately, uploading to maybe YouTube, to their website, to podcast. How would we streamline that? So just for the efficiency of the admin team, we actually made a tool where they can upload again one video or your audio. Once you click save, it actually automatically distributes to your podcast for you, as well as to your website or to your app or to your Apple TV app. So it's a one-click streamlined effort, because you do want to get that out. And you don't want to get bogged down with, we have to go over here now and add this to our podcast separately. If you can maximize that by unifying them together, that's where the most value can be. But yeah, you want to get that out as soon as possible. And then the best thing is if you can send push notifications alerting people to the fact that, hey, a new sermon is available. If you missed it this week or would like to watch it again, click here.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So tell me about events. So obviously we're announcing events from the stage or through video announcements or whatever. But let's say I am the host on stage. What are some ways that I can engage people to have them pull out their app and see the information or sign up for an event?
Yeah, great question. When we look at, again, the idea of a bulletin, or you're going to want to promote, we have a men's weekend coming up, get it in front of people as many ways as possible. So if you can, while they're there, let's say you have a home tab inside of your app. This is something we regularly recommend, is having a central place where you're going to put your most relevant new information. Right. And then take a hero image, a banner across the top that promotes that main action item you want them to take. So in sales and marketing, we want to have a sign up. We want to have a call to action. Your call to action is, hey, we are really wanting to incentivize this family weekend, this men's weekend, what that event is. Put it right in your app. From there, they can click, they can go register from there. You can add links to sign up, to pay. It is a very easy process to promote. And that same event you've created, you can post and embed on your website as well, or launch it through social media, just as a reminder. But when you are present with them physically, give them that action item to say, hey, actually right now, everyone pull out your app. You can go click and register right now so you don't forget.
Good. All right. Tell me about church blog. How do I engage with my church blog and blog posts through the app?
Yeah, we do have an RSS reader, so it pulls in any feed. You can even segment by what type of blog. Some of our churches have, several pastors will have a blog. They might have 3, so they might have a section they've designated inside. And then in our system, we basically just pull in the RSS reader itself, and there's a couple different layouts you can choose from that's going to automatically publish that next version up front for you. So try to streamline that as well to make it as efficient and effective. That's another good use of utilizing a push notification, an alert that's going to pop up on their phone saying, hey, our pastor just launched this new, blog on ... topic that we talked about on Sunday. Take some time, take 5 minutes out of your day to read this, to keep them alerted to the opportunity that's there. Because email is great. You can use email, but we're seeing email, usage and viewership decline, right? The open rate is declining. So push notifications are right now a much better tool to communicate new content.
So let's lean into that for a second. Push notifications. What are some of the things that I need to be using push notifications for, where one, I don't overload the people using the app with a million alerts, and two, just how do I choose the right things to push?
Right. Yeah. Keep it clean and keep it simple. And make sure it is relevant to the audience you're trying to address it. There are groups you can create. So if you want to have, there's one for this security serve team, people that volunteer for that, and it's not relevant maybe to the masses, then maybe put that in a special channel of communication. Or we have a new tool that actually just launched today, which is a messaging tool where you can actually interact back and forth with people. You might want to utilize that feature for that service opportunity. But for push notifications, in and of themselves, you're going to want to promote something that's going to apply to everyone. So it might be latest sermon, catch this story. We just did a testimony video. We want everyone to see it. We do have a new blog out. Content is king. So announce and publicize your content through push notifications to your general channel.
Good. All right. Tell me how you guys are integrated with places like YouVersion, Fellowship One, just some great integrations that you guys have, maybe some ideas that maybe people haven't thought of.
Sure. Yeah. So first and foremost, there's integrations with many CHMS providers, church management software systems, where you might say, hey, we use Church Community Builder and we want to drive our giving donors and tie that together. That works seamlessly together. Or right now we have a Rock user account integration with Rock RMS, a relationship management tool from Rock. And you can authenticate your user account in Subsplash and your user account in Rock so that it's one system. That means you can actually customize the content out of them inside of Rock into the app, which is incredibly powerful when you think about profiles and building out more robust, demographic profile even on who that person is. If it's a man, you might want to promote that men's weekend, whereas if it's a woman, you probably don't need to promote the men's weekend. So there's some of those specific tie-ins. And then things like YouVersion are very easy to integrate. We also have a full integration with the ESV translation and audio Bible and reading plans. So most of our churches have preferred to use that, but it's very easy to tie in a YouVersion tool or a Bible Gateway tool as well if you're looking for a slightly different translation that you want to present inside of the app. So those just speak to a few, but there's a variety of things you can tie into the app from a web experience, from a true API integration, and then there's data points that we connect with various CHMS tools.
So one of the things that you guys suggest is to make like a special tab, like an Easter or a Christmas or maybe a summer tab, something like that, maybe on your homepage just to direct people to specific content. Walk me through some of the things that you guys suggest there.
Yeah. So if you were a company and you were trying to market or brand something, you'd want to put, we have this big sale. It's our, special season of the year. It's the same with the church where, getting around time of Christmas or Easter, you're going to have more visitors coming in the door. And if you're promoting your app well in the engagement of your app, put the most important thing in front of them. So we do find you in those particular two seasons, those are huge opportunities to say, Easter's coming up. Here's what you need to know. And even for visitors, you might have, hey, fill out this form, or hey, what do I need to know about it? Sometimes churches even include, what should I wear? If I'm coming to church and visiting on Easter. Well, if that's something you're trying to target and cater to your visitor audience, put that first and foremost, because your regular attendees will know where to go. But how do you put the most relevant information in front of people? And around Christmas time, there's a lot of extra activities. We might have, hey, sign your kids up for the kids concert that we're going to do. We'll make that front and center so people don't miss it. They don't get, out of sight, out of mind. They never see it. They forget to register for their kid for the Christmas concert. So how are you specializing based on the season?
Good. All right. So let me ask you some kind of big 30,000 foot view kind of questions. Okay. So let's go back to basics here. So why is it beneficial to have a church app that I can use in my worship experience?
That's good. So one, we see the average church using Subsplash having an app has 5 times as many downloads of their app as people coming on a Sunday. That is an incredible data point to look at. The average church has 10,000 impressions a month inside of their app. So, and our average church size isn't like 10,000 people, right? That would be awesome, but there's not that many churches like that. The average church size might be 300 to 500, but they're having 10,000 impressions inside of their app. So we know that the usage is incredibly high, and we're seeing churches regularly reporting an increase in their sermon plays and increasing giving by having this out, saving costs and efficiency by, one church entirely went away from printing bulletins because they could use the app. as the main go-to place. They even saved enough money to buy tablets for some of their older congregants who wanted something physical in their hands. So this is just showing, as people have adapted to, even if we think about a parallel industry, on airplanes often they might put a TV in the seat, or they just say connect your phone to this in-flight Wi-Fi, and you could watch movies or TV shows from there. So people have devices and they are connected. So what are we doing as the church to connect back with them? This has been the best opportunity for churches to increase their connectivity and communication.
Good. All right, let's say I'm a church, I don't have an app. Give me some first steps.
Yeah. So, and first, it depends on where you're at. You do need a website. A website is still the public portal of discovery, right? So people are going to Google churches near me before they probably search the App Store. We do hear tons of stories about people discovering an app first, but you promote your app on your website. You promote your app on Sunday. You have your congregants share. But you need a website first and foremost. If you're looking to get an app, it is very simple. You just need to spend a little bit of time focusing on what do we want this app to do and what do we want to communicate, which we've talked about a few of those things already, Carl, in terms of your sermons, maybe a blog, Bible reading plans, use push notifications. Those are very important, but just take the first simple steps. It's very easy to build. It's like building a website. We work with them every step of the way to make sure they have a successful launch of their app inside the app stores. But you can call into Subsplash to learn more about what that process is.
Good. All right. So big question that everybody's going to ask is, how expensive is it?
Yeah. We have a variety of options. So we start at, well, number one, our giving tool is actually $0 a month. Any church anywhere can use our giving tool and sign up for it right now. We'd be happy to serve them. Once you get into the platform and the products, it starts at $50 a month. You can have a website, be included in our church app container, and get giving for $50 a month. And from there, there's a variety of packages that would include, getting your own standalone app, which does take more work on our side to make sure it's published and taken care of uniquely inside of all of the app stores. And we launched that on iOS, Android, even up to Roku and Apple TV. And then there's more advanced options as well, above and beyond that, for larger churches who want to do some custom API integrations.
Awesome, man. All right. So how easy is it for me to understand and develop my church's app? Is it really complicated? What if I'm, take my next steps, but I'm like, I don't even know where to get started? Or is it going to be a lot of development? Is it too complicated for me?
Right. You do not need to be a developer. You do not need to know anything about code. We take care of all of that for you. And again, we have a team that works with you every step of the way through implementation and launching your app, to teach, to train, and to walk alongside. So we'll hold your hand. We've had senior pastors that run the entire show that have never built a website, have never touched technology, and we've helped them build an app in under 10 hours. So I would say it's all about the effort you put into it, and but within 10 hours of time, you could have absolutely a smashingly good app available in the app stores.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and everything that you guys do for church world and ministries. Just really appreciate everything that you guys do.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. We're blessed and honored to partner with so many churches.
The show notes for this episode are available now at makingSundayHappen.com.
Hey guys, in the mailbag segment this week, I asked worship leaders, what is one thing that you learned or have learned over the years that you could tell yourself 10 years ago? So here are a few of the responses that I got from you guys. Grant Norsworthy said, choose the song keys for the congregation rather than for me. Scott Morris said, don't stare down people walking in late during the second song while you're leading. Good advice. Clay Hampton said, culture is not built overnight. Pace yourself. Kirk Brown said, be a leader of the song, not just the singer. Instruct and make them worship with you, not towards you. Great advice from Kirk. All right, Christopher Rickson said, it's 90% about the people you pastor and 10% about the music. Pastor first, all the time. Stevie Flockhart said, there's nothing that can go wrong on a Sunday that can't be worked on Monday. All right, just a few of the responses that I got from you guys. Thank you for responding. We got dozens of responses on that question. So feel free to follow me on Facebook. I put a lot on my Facebook page and connect with you there. So I would love to find you on Facebook and connect with you. I want our community to be about you and helping you transform the worship experiences at your church. So I want us to learn from each other, not just from me. I don't know all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I want to learn from you guys as well, and us to learn from each other. So that's why I'm doing that, and thank you for your responses. Keep those coming. If you have a question for me or our team that we can try to find an answer for you, we would love to. You can find me on social media. You can email me, carl@1230.media, or you can text or call me. Here's my direct number, 803-673-9041, 803-673-9041. Please be patient with me, but I will get to you. I do respond to everybody individually. So feel free to text me, 803-673-9041. That is not empty. You can seriously text me anytime, and I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can. The direct URL for our podcast is makingsundayhappen.com. makingsundayhappen.com. Next week on the show, I'll welcome my good friend Aaron West from Media Shout. We're going to be talking about how you can get the most out of your presentation software. Aaron is a fantastic guy and incredibly knowledgeable. He works at Media Shout. He was on staff at Dave Ramsey's organization in Nashville. The guy is just a powerhouse, so I can't wait for you to hear from him. I believe in you guys. You're making a difference for the kingdom. I love you. I'm behind you. I'm for you. Seriously, guys, I don't know all the answers here. I'm on the journey with you. But if we can learn from each other and I can have this medium in which to connect us all, that's my goal. So I'm so grateful for you and your friendship. And if you don't hear it from anybody else, you are making a difference in the kingdom for Jesus. Even if nobody sees it or recognizes it, your hard work is going a long way. So keep at it. Thank you guys for listening and watching this week. Go out there and create some incredible worship experiences this weekend. I'll catch you next week.
Making Sunday Happen is a production of the ministry of 1230 Media. For show notes, archive episodes, and more free resources for your church, visit makingsundayhappen.com.